Welcome to Wake Up West Palm, where we talk all things downtown West Palm Beach, and you get to meet some of the incredible people and businesses in our beautiful community. Today, I am joined by Chris Slawson, owner of Sour Seed Bagels. Thank you so much for having us here.
My pleasure. Thank you guys for coming. Appreciate it.
So why don't you share with us a little about your background and what inspired you to start Sour Seed Bagels?
Absolutely. Well, I started working in the restaurant industry in my 20s and worked various different jobs in California and New York, and then eventually ended up in Florida. And I worked on a couple projects here, and then I ended up in Miami for another restaurant project. And post-COVID, without getting too far in the details, Sour Seed Bagels started as a way to generate some income and try something different out of the restaurant I was involved in Miami.
And it was like a pop-up, right?
Correct. It was virtually taking the staff that I currently had with me, and we said, hey, we've got a great to-go market. We have coffee, we have smoothies, we have prepared foods, and no one was really doing a great bagel. So I've always loved working with sourdough. At the restaurants I worked in and co-owned, I've done sourdough pizza, so I had some background in working with sourdough. And I thought to myself, okay, let me come up with a recipe that has a unique bagel. So it's not like a traditional, like chewy New York bagel. It's more of like a bagel that's kind of between like a baguette and a ciabatta. So it's a little bit lighter, airier, but still has a slight chew. So started working on that recipe, and then we literally just printed a menu, taped it on the window, and called ourselves Sour Seed Bagels, and that's how it started.
You could have opened this place up anywhere. Why choose downtown West Palm Beach?
Well, my home has been Palm Beach Gardens for 15 plus years, so I wanted to be something in the community that I've lived in, and downtown has become such a thriving market in the last several years, and just the demographic here is particularly in this location is very supportive of smaller businesses, and I feel like you really get a sense of community within downtown West Palm.
And I know that the Downtown Development Authority helped you with the space and kind of getting up and running, which is what they do best. So what was that experience like?
It was great. I knew about the DDA from a project I did years ago. So as I was exploring options and looking at, where to open this location, I reached out to them and learned about their business incentives. And so it was very instrumental in helping us get up and running.
What do you wish more people knew about what it takes to run a restaurant?
Well, I think owning any type of business as an entrepreneur just takes a lot of hard work. It's a big grind and a lot of sacrifice. I think at the end of the day, now that I've been doing this for so long, a big part of, really making it in the restaurant business, whether it's a large restaurant or a small bagel concept, it's really about building a team of people that are passionate about what you're doing and care about the brand, care about the product, and have a sense of purpose working for the company. Because at the end of the day, like, yes, I'm the owner, I'm, hands-on heavily, but, they play such a instrumental role in making the product every day and building that consistency. So I think one of the hardest challenges of any business, but particularly restaurants, is, retaining a team of people that can see your vision through. Yeah.
What kind of culture? Because you can tell that you're very passionate about the food, about building this kind of culture. What kind of culture are you building here for your team and for your customers? What do you want people to feel when they come in?
It's a great question. I think it's one of the most important things is just building a sense of, really sense of community, where the culture within the company is inspirational, where people come to work and they feel like, oh, I really love what we're doing here. I know that we're working on a product that, is authentic and transparent, and we're using premium ingredients, and we're really trying to offer something to people that is a healthier choice. and is really elevated. And doing a product that is more expensive to make, has more labor built into it, is not an easy process. So I think it's just from an employee perspective, everybody just really being on board with that, and then being able to communicate that to the customer so they also feel a sense of value when they're coming here. And, they feel like everything right now is expensive, right? I mean, you go to any restaurant and it's expensive. And if you're paying for a meal that is not necessarily transparent in like the quality of what they're offering you, but it's still really expensive, that's somewhat of a disappointment. But what we're trying to do here is still bring that value and that quality to the customer, and hopefully turn them into like repeat customers,
Yeah.
and just making sure that they feel like they're experiencing something that's very unique and like just really delicious.
Yeah. And I feel like when you do put that much time and attention into the ingredients and sourcing, and then even when you learn about the owner, you want to support what it is that you're building. And you are not only the owner, but you're also a chef. So you're in the kitchen. And what is that like, being both?
It's a lot of fun. I mean, it's, this is a passion project, and it starts with really the way this all started was just like kind of an obsession over like creating the perfect bagel in my mind. And so, there's a lot of time it takes to like trial and error that. And so, at the end of the day, I'm really motivated and get inspiration from like really, really amazing products when it comes to food. So it's like, that's really at the end of the day, what brings me my joy of like this business model is really like getting excited about the product. It's really what it's all about.
So will we see you walking around the green market? Is that what I'm hearing? Just seeing what you can source locally?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely always like to explore what other businesses are doing or what the green market has to offer. Also, working with local farms, I'm just now starting to try and build relationships with some local farms that can bring us some really great produce. But it's tough in Florida just because the growing season is short and we're still a little bit behind in that. But working with, some local vendors to continue that is the plan.
What do you feel are some of the benefits to opening up a business in downtown West Palm Beach versus other areas?
Well, I think first off is, from what I've seen so far since I've been here and opened a second business, is like there is really a unique demographic of people here. It feels like over the past five years that there's just been an influx of people moving here, obviously because of the weather and just the beautiness of downtown West Palm and the beach and all that. But I think we have such a great like I said, demographic of people and a mix of small businesses, and it just draws in a lot of different types of customers to my business. And obviously, being that I'm in the bagel business, virtually everybody would appreciate a really good bagel and a great cup of coffee or whatever. So our demographic is very broad.
So let's talk about the bagels. So
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite flavor or a favorite menu item that if someone hasn't been yet and they come, what do they need to try?
Yeah, that's a great question because we get that a lot. I think we obviously take pride in the process of making the sourdough bagel. So the simplest way to like truly experience the bagel, in my opinion, is to have a plain bagel with our grass-fed butter and just a pinch of sea salt, because then you get the flavors of the sourdough and the hints of the chew and a little bit of the crunch. And it's just like, you really get to taste the bagel itself. And from there, you can add your toppings that you like that we have, which are all also made in-house. But I would say my go-to bagel most days of the week is our plain bagel with grass-fed butter. And then I put on our homemade blueberry or raspberry jam. And it's just like super delicious and easy.
Simple.
Exactly.
Simple, easy. I love it.
Yeah.
Now you live, work, and play in downtown West Palm Beach.
Yep.
What is that like? What do we see you doing on the weekends? What do you do for fun when you're not working? Although I know you work a lot.
Question. Yeah, I mean, when I first opened Sour Seed Bagels, being that, it's a breakfast concept, I had to get here to train the staff very, very early. So wanted to be close to the business to make that happen. So been down here for that. And yeah, I'm pretty hands-on right now, 6-7 days a week here. So during the day, I'm here pretty much. Other than that, just, walking to the beach, getting some exercise in, just kind of detaching from the work when I can, and walking over to City Place or the farmer's market, hanging out.
What is it like as far as collaboration? I know you talked a little bit about using some of the local farms, but how important is collaboration when you're running a business and just being part of this community and talking to other business owners, what it's like, any marketing efforts that you guys can share?
Yeah. I mean, I'm always open to the idea and excited to work with other small businesses to collab on certain things. We haven't honestly done a lot of that. But I think it'd be really cool to, find other companies that are cohesive with like their brand, their product, and look at ways we can support each other. Yeah, always about that. Could be anything, a coffee shop or, somebody, who does a particular product very well that we could come up with a special, something like that would be cool.
You talked about how special downtown West Palm Beach is. Obviously, having a business owner here, you get to influence the downtown. What are some of your dreams as far as being able to support the growth here?
I'm very, very excited about the growth of West Palm Beach and what's coming here. There's a lot of new developments happening, and I think there's an enormous amount of opportunity for small businesses like Sour Seed Bagels to expand beyond the brand and potentially, maybe open up a second concept in a different location and still be able to support our customer base in maybe a little bit different of a way. It could be a different product. But I think that's what truly makes downtown West Palm Beach special, is that there's a lot of small businesses opening here and they all have their unique concepts. And I think with all the new real estate developments that are coming, there's going to be more opportunity for businesses that are already established here to expand beyond where they're located, which I'm excited about.
Yeah, it's so cool to see all the new places that come in and just like to be able to walk around and meet all the people and see all the murals. Like, we just live in such a special place.
Really, really do. I agree.
So tell us a little, what are some of the dreams that you have for yourself, for Sour Seed Bagels over the next 3 to 5 years?
Great question. I think one thing I've learned about doing a couple different concepts in my past and growing businesses, I think it's really great to just be patient and let things unravel as they organically should. So I think that what's most important to me right now is that Sour Seed Bagels, continues to be an anchor in the community and serving like really, really good coffee and bagels, and like our product, the consistency remains. And, also too, like being able to provide great jobs for my staff and, keep growing in that sense. And then we'll see. I mean, if an opportunity opens itself for us to do something somewhere in the community that's expanding beyond here, we'll look at that when that time comes. It is challenging, obviously, as in the restaurant business and the bagel business, because your profit margins are somewhat limited with the product you're selling. We're not a bar at night selling cocktails for $25, so we have to just kind of wait and see. But I do think my focus is always been on creating products that are really unique and exceptional. So when the timing happens for that to expand, I'm going to be all over it and looking forward to that opportunity.
Your space is very unique, only offering outdoor seating. So tell us about that.
Sure. So what happened was I came across this retail space, which was a former gelato concept, and it had been sitting vacant for a while post-COVID. And so I inquired about it because I was curious, what the landlord was looking for and what the space looked like and if I could make something work here. So started that process. The interior space is only about 520 square feet. So in order to make that happen and be functional for a small bagel shop, it took a lot of planning and a lot of design, working with such a small space. You really had to make things super efficient and cohesive. And so just started exploring that option, and the landlord was willing to work with me on putting some things in the garage and making it so it could actually function. And so we went down that path, and then basically it naturally became, okay, how are we going to take orders from customers? And the only way that would really work is if we had an ordering window. So we just basically designed the concept around everybody orders at the window, and then we're going to just sit outside. And so we started with sidewalk seating, and then we realized, okay, we've got 24 seats outside, but it's not enough. We need more. So we started exploring, okay, what other options do we have? And then I learned about the Parklet, which is a feature of the Downtown Development Authority, and started working with them to get this Parklet built, which has now expanded our seating to about 50 seats. So we've doubled our seating virtually. Yeah.
Oh my, it's so cool. It's like where there's a will, there's a way.
Exactly.
You figured it out.
Yes, we're very lucky. I mean, I never could have imagined that when I signed the lease that, okay, now I've got an opportunity to have 50 seats. Like, it never really thought that would actually be an option, but we made it happen.
All right, Chris, we're in the kitchen.
We're live. We're finally in the kitchen.
I love it. All right, so tell us about the process of what it takes to make these delicious bagels.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously the star of the show is our sourdough. So we make a sourdough bagel using 3 different types of flour. We use a Parisian flour, which gives it kind of like an exterior, like golden crunch. And then we use a organic whole wheat bread flour, which that process is kind of like a slow fermentation. And then we also use a high gluten flour to get the stretches in. So it's a 3 flour combo bagel. We do a 48-hour ferment. And that's really kind of the basics of the bagel. And then they're hand-shaped, hand-boiled, baked fresh daily.
This differentiates you from other bagel places because you can't come in and get 3 dozen bagels right now.
Correct, yeah. We're not necessarily equipped to just let a lot of loose bagels go unless you kind of plan ahead and order ahead, which you can do online. But yeah, we're more about creating an experience with the bagel and our toppings. Which is
Fresh
what we're all
topping,
about.
It smells delicious in here, and your team is just diligently working. You have a really good system in here. All right, and let's talk about your drinks. Your drinks are incredible.
Yeah. Let's roll to the drinks. So yeah, we focus on organic coffee. So we have an espresso that we work with Jim's Organic Coffee. We also do ceremonial organic grade matcha. We also have organic smoothies as well. We use 100% organic fruit in all of our smoothies. And then we also make all of our syrups in-house from scratch. So we're really eliminating like cane sugar. We use a lot of coconut sugar, and all of our cold foams are made in-house too. So we've cut out the preservatives. So really kind of the experience on the beverage side is, again, quality first and just taking our time to really curate really awesome drinks. And it's order at the window concept and sit outside. So it's been great.
You're doing such a great job.
Appreciate it.
And I'm looking forward to seeing what you do down here in downtown West Palm Beach, whether it's to expand this or something else that you have going on. Obviously, you have lots of things that you could potentially do to support the downtown.
Thank you. No, it's very exciting, and we're very blessed to be here, very grateful, and very excited about hopefully working with the DDA again on maybe a future project somewhere and see where that brings us. Well, maybe we can have another one of these interviews in 5 years.
You know what? Who knows?
Yeah.
I bet we will.
We could do that.
It'll be a whole new concept,
Yes.
and we'll be back.
I love it.
Well, Chris, thank you so much for
Absolutely.
taking the time. Thanks for having us here. We so appreciate you. Thank you all so much for watching. We appreciate you, and we will see you next time.
This show is brought to you by West Palm Beach Downtown Development Authority.